Hi EDL 634 classmates, this is Cara Pike-Inman and this is my final critical reflection video response for summer one. So it's amazing how quickly it's gone. So a few opening thoughts is that for this case study we looked at 20 factors across 5 different categories. And I think some of the factors that we came up with, for example, health education as part of the community engagement category, may have skewed our overall results. Because, for example, if you have health education included as a factor, that automatically puts schools that are art schools, for example, at a deficit. So I think if we could do this again, we may have come up with some different factors, but it is what it is. I would also say that certain factors that were not included as our official 20 should have carried some weight, and for me did carry quite a bit of weight. Some of these factors are things like geographic location of the institution and accessibility for all students within the state, academic duplication of majors. Did the school offer majors that weren't available other places? University profile and history were important to me, as well as the number of students served. If it's an institution that served a lot of students, there would obviously be bigger consequences if that school were cut. So with that being said, I actually came up with 2 institutions that I'm recommending for closure. The assignment said institution or institutions, so I'm coming up with 2. And those are North Carolina School for the Arts and the North Carolina School for Science and Math. So to start with the North Carolina School for the Arts, it got our second lowest scores both for our ratings and for our rankings. It was my second lowest overall in both of those. And it was in our bottom 3 institutions in diversity. And I think part of that's because it was 73% white. And I think part of that for me was that when I did a thorough look through their website and searching and trying to find resources, I was unable to find any student clubs or organizations for diverse student populations, as well as I also didn't find any student services offices other than a disability services office that were there to serve the needs and provide resources to diverse student populations, whether that was students from certain ethnicities or races or GLBT students or anything like that. All I was able to find was a disability services office. So again, I think that's why it ranked quite low in diversity. It also is in the bottom 3 institutions for us overall in terms of community engagement. And I think part of that may have been because of factors like health education that are part of our community engagement category that it doesn't offer, that aren't offered at North Carolina School for the Arts, so therefore made it rank low in that category. For me personally, it also didn't rank high in academic health, largely due to the low research contributions of this institution compared with some other institutions in the state. And then for me, in terms of student outcomes, it also ranked low because licensure and certification was one of the factors within there, as were job placements. And so for me, it was low both in licensure and certification, as well as job placements in North Carolina. And it was low in job placements. Again, this was a graph I included in my initial reflection, but you'll notice that 2 years after graduation, 75% of the graduates of North Carolina School for the Arts are not employed in North Carolina. So if part of the mission of the UNC system is to both educate North Carolinians and have them be employed and contribute to the community and the economy here in North Carolina, these students are not doing that. Additionally, with North Carolina School for the Arts, there's only kind of 6 general subject areas offered there, and all of those are available at several other UNC system schools. Schools like UNC Greensboro in the center of the state, Western Carolina way out west, UNCW in the east. Several schools throughout the state offer these subject areas, or many of these subject areas. The school also only has 797 students, less than 800 students, so there'd be very minimal displacement overall if closure occurs. And with a 6-to-1 student-faculty ratio, that is very low for the state, but it also means that in terms of bang for your buck as a taxpayer helping to pay these salaries, those faculty are not touching and interacting with as many students as they are at other institutions. The school also has the highest in-state tuition in the state, and probably as a result of that, that hinders some of the accessibility for in-state students, and that may be why, compared to some other institutions, it has a high percentage of out-of-state students. Geographically, There is accessibility to many other institutions for North Carolina School of the Arts students. It's located in Winston-Salem, in that I-40 corridor between Winston-Salem and Raleigh. There are many other institutions, so these students would have geographic accessibility to other institutions. Probably the coolest thing for me about North Carolina School for the Arts is its mascot. I'm not sure if that would be able to be retained by another institution if the North Carolina School for the Arts were to close, but Fighting Pickle sounds pretty cool. So the next institution that I would recommend for closure is the North Carolina School for Science and Math. Again, it serves a small student population, less than 700 students, and those students, because the North Carolina School for Science and Math is a high school, number one, I just find it odd that it's included with a system that is all other institutions within the system are higher education institutions, but those students could be served through the growing number of early college programs in North Carolina. The early college program was launched in 2004, so it's been around for over 10 years now, and it has grown tremendously. When I started doing research into all of the institutions throughout the state that offer early college programs, I was so surprised to see all of these institutions, and these range from east to west, north to south within the state, that do offer early college programs. So while the School for Science and Math is located in Durham, so again, very central, it would have, the students would have geographic accessibility to many, many early college programs. And if that wasn't what the institution wanted to do, it could become a private boarding school. But I think the early college program is a great option. Additionally, for me, if you look at academic health, because it's a high school, faculty research, which was one of the factors, or just research in general that was part of academic health, is going to be much lower than a lot of other UNC system schools. It also ranked in the bottom 3 for all of us in terms of community engagement. And again, I think that's a lot of the fact that it's a high school and not a college or university. And although of the 1 through 19 rankings, it did rank 12.86, so we could round that up to 13 overall. For me, it actually ended up getting my lowest ranking due to some of the factors that I've discussed here. I think that these would be the 2 easiest institutions to close in terms of number of schools or number of students affected, ability to absorb those students into pre-existing structures and institutions within the state. While I think it's great that this is such a highly ranked high school, and while I am a huge supporter of the arts, if we had to close 2 institutions, these would be my 2 recommendations. This has been an interesting and thought-provoking project. I look forward to seeing the final decisions that you all made, and I look forward to seeing most of you in summer too. Have a wonderful day.